So, Chris, we were talking a little bit before we started recording here about our histories and found out about 8 years ago or so you had a stroke as well. So, talk a little bit about some of the realizations that you have when you have a stroke. And as I just went through this 4 months ago at this point, very much so new to the stroke bandwagon, but I'm on it too.
Yeah, so about 8 years ago, I had a stroke that took this eye, and it happened while I was in my sleep. And I had a stroke right here, which basically is the blockage of an artery that's about the thickness of your hair. And that blockage of that artery kept blood and oxygen from flowing to my eye. And as it deprived my eye of oxygen, it took away my sight. Now, I was asleep when that happened, and there's not much I could have done other than change my diet and live a better life. And I think people don't understand what you put in your body is mission critical to living a high quality life. I think since then, I've changed my life dramatically.
Yeah, I will say that where I came from, my stroke, I'm 47 years old, in pretty good health. I just came off a carnivore diet, so I don't know how impactful that was, but I've always eaten pretty well, not chips and snacks and all of that. That
How old are you,
wasn't
by
part
the
of
way?
it. 47.
Little FYI, when you were on that carnivore diet, you were eating a lot of meat,
Yeah.
and meat inherently has fat inside of it. And your body, as you get older, has trouble producing the enzymes necessary to break down meat, red meat,
Yeah.
especially. And as you were pumping your body full of that red meat and that animal fat, your body held on to that animal fat. And that animal fat probably stayed inside your arteries. And that was probably devastating to your stroke.
Yeah, I did carnivore for probably I think it was about 3 months, beginning of this year. And I slowly started introducing vegetables and all of that back into my diets and all of that. But shortly thereafter, within a few months of reintroducing all of that, is when I had my stroke at that point. So that was middle of June, call it.
People
So,
think that human beings are carnivores, when in reality, we're herbivores. If you look at your
yeah,
teeth, we have the
yeah,
teeth of a herbivore.
yeah. So do you participate in a lot of vegetable type eating, or do you?
Vegetables, protein shakes. I start my morning with a protein shake because when your body's waking up, it's been fasting, in my case, for 12 to 14 hours. That's why it's called breakfast, breakfast, breaking your fast. And the first thing I introduce to my body is a liquid protein, something that my body can very easily wake up to. And the protein is easily distributed to my body where I need it.
Interesting. Yeah. And that makes perfect sense too, because again, when you went through the life of a carnivore, again, I was called 3 months or so carnivore. I would only eat once, maybe twice a day, and it primarily was always meat. I never worried about any of the breakfasts or lunch or anything like that. I just had my window that I ate within, which was between 5 and 7, 8 o'clock at night. And that's the only time I would eat. And primarily that was always some kind of meat, whether that be ground meat or a steak or whatever it was. That was my day in, day out capacity that I was putting in my body at that point. So
One of the things I can tell you is I stop eating solid food at 6 o'clock every day, partly
okay.
because I go to bed at around 10. And what people don't realize is when you eat solid food, it doesn't go straight into your stomach. It actually gets pushed down by your esophagus, which is a muscle that slowly, like a muscle, squeezes the food down into your intestines. And then your intestines push it down into your stomach. And that takes hours. And I tell people this all the time. If you stop eating solid food for 4 or 5 hours before you go to sleep, it gives your body the ability to move all that solid food into your stomach where your enzymes can break it down.
yeah, yeah,
Now, the other thing too that happens is while you're not eating solid foods, you're drinking liquids. In my case, I'll drink probably a gallon of water before I go to bed. That water pushes that solid food faster down. And a lot of people sometimes, oh, I'm just going to have a cookie before bed. Well, that cookie now sticks in your esophagus And while you're sleeping, your esophagus has to work instead of rest. You want to let your inside organs rest while you're sleeping. It literally gives you a better sleep and also is better for your body. So I tell people all the time, it's called breakfast for a reason. You're breaking your fast, but your fast should start by eliminating solid foods 4 to 5 hours before you go to sleep.
Yeah, that's interesting. And what is your definition of what a solid food is, too? Is that all meats? Is that all fish? Anything?
Cookie,
Solid.
hamburger, hot dog, anything solid you would put in your body.
Okay. Yeah.
For 4 or 5 hours before you go to bed, if all you're doing is drinking liquids, you're pushing all that stuff down. Now, here's another thing that I would share with you. In the morning, this is going to suck, but if you can take a shot, by the way, you can chase it with orange juice. That works really well for me. A shot of organic apple cider vinegar.
Okay.
Esophagus is filthy. It literally traps food that sits in there and literally rots. And as that food rots, it creates methane gas, which causes you to burp and fart. It creates all kinds of other things that are bad for you. So if you can start your day before you put anything in your body with a swig, just a shot glass of or apple cider organic vinegar, that vinegar will clean your esophagus. Now, it does suck. It does not taste good.
Yeah.
But you can always wash it down with some OJ.
Well, you said a shot of vinegar. Just for the health conscious folks out there, can you describe, is that a shot, like a shot glass, or is there?
Yeah,
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I'm all for that, trying to better my life and get better my capacities and all of that. So
yeah, it's definitely a way to, people don't see the inside of their body. They see the outside of their body. But if you could see the inside of your body, you'd realize, holy fuck, my esophagus has got a piece of food stuck to it. That's a piece of food that was from last week. It's rotting. It's creating methane gas. It's literally making me disgusting. And you almost have to understand that the inside of your body, you have to take care of the inside of your body more than the outside.
yeah, and it's so true too, especially everything that I've gone through in the past couple of months. If I knew what I was doing to my body from the inside out, I would have done things a little bit differently. I would have done things a lot differently at that point.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah. We were talking a little bit before we got online here, before we started recording, and you've had some success in your life. Why don't you talk about your software company and what that looks like or looked like at that point?
So I've been involved in software for most of my life. And I've invested in over 120 companies, most of them software related. And not all of them have succeeded. Probably 80% have failed. But each failure taught me something that was valuable. And at the end of the day, I tell people this all the time. You got to build something unique. You got to build something unique that solves a problem in this world. Otherwise, you're literally never going to build anything successful.
Yeah. And I couldn't agree more either. Like you have to concentrate on the problems and all of that. But talk a little bit about what you have in your life right now, as far as what you built and things that you have at this point. All right. We were talking a little bit about what you're doing today. And one of the things that you have done today is you've gotten very much so involved in AI and building software and all of that. This is going to be a conversation that I think a lot of people are going to really gravitate toward. But why don't you talk a little bit about what you built today, what's included in it, and then we can get into all of the nuances about using AI today.
So about a year ago, I got very interested in AI agents. And there's a big difference between an AI agent and then using AI. So a lot of people go, oh, yeah, I use AI. I went to ChatGPT and I typed in this prompt and it gave me back a funny video of baby Trump doing a podcast. And that's using AI as a tool. But having an agent work for you is something that you can get AI to do things for you while you sleep. For example, I built one agent that literally every night goes and takes all the podcasts that were uploaded and converts them from audio files into text files and uploads them to our AWS server. That's one agent. We have another agent that takes keywords from our clients and literally builds communities of podcasts that match those keywords so that our clients can get booked on the right podcast. Then we have a third AI agent, which is what's called a conversational voice agent. And that agent writes emails, very unique emails to each one of those hosts, about 30 a day, to get our clients booked on a podcast. And all three of those agents work together to literally do about 40,000 man hours a day of work.
Interesting. Basically, you have three agents at this point that are more or less your army that tries to get people booked on podcasts. Is that the best way to describe what you built right now?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. So when you start off with a software program problem, anything like that, can you talk a little bit about these are the challenges that you should, or these are the things that you should do first to be able to make something valuable at the end of the day? Does that make sense?
The biggest thing that people have to do with software is you have to do things that solve problems and save time. So if you can build software that solves problems and saves time, that's something people will pay for.
Yeah.
Remember, your time is the most valuable thing you have.
Yeah. Whether you realize it or not, but it really is the case. And when you're talking about doing 40,000 hours of
Man hours.
labor, man hours.
There's a big difference between man hours and machine hours. So AI can work while 24/7. Human beings, we need rest. So man hours is what I call the amount of hours that an AI agent saves a human being.
Yeah. And so you have a podcast. Let's break that down a little bit further, where as a podcast producer, so, you're listening to all of this on a podcast right now. I have my own podcast. You were scheduled on that podcast to record the podcast, all of that. Was all of the forward progress, if you will, was that all machine learning and AI and all of that at that point?
So everything that we did leading up to this moment where you and I are doing a podcast right now, 98% of it was done by AI. The only time that I stepped in is when it required me to reply to your email.
Interesting. Okay.
And once I replied to your email, my AI no longer got involved.
Yeah. That's cool. So when you go about putting a piece of software together, you've gone through this exercise of identifying a problem, identifying an opportunity, and we'll say it like that. What's the next step that you have to go through from a development standpoint, would you say, at that point? So
I tell everyone, when you're developing software, there's only one phase: trial and error. Trial and error. You're constantly building something, writing some code, testing it out to see if it works. When it doesn't, you try to fix it till it does work, and then you build more code. So software is constant and never-ending trial and error.
And what does your software stack look like at this point? Again, you've thrown out, you're using AI agents. Not sure if you're using some kind of a platform or what that looks like. But
we built the platform.
Built the platform.
Yeah. And our background AI agent is run by Grok. So we work with Grok.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's really interesting. So who is we? When you say we?
My team and I have 25 developers that work with me.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So you have all of that as well, and all driving people and motivating people and all of that's all part of this too. What does that look like from a development standpoint? How do you go through and structure 25 developers on your team effectively, would you say?
I think the biggest thing I've learned is you got to communicate very clearly with people. You got to literally be very clear and concise of what you want out of them.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. What is that? Are you using certain tools, or what does that look like as far as communication is concerned?
We use WhatsApp a lot. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. And are you communicating to the entire team, or are you only communicating to one person and they're communicating to other people on the team?
It's usually groups of teams that are working together or individuals within that team.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense too. So would you say that this is your end all type of solution that you're trying to create and trying to deploy at this point? Or is this
Pretty
part of
much.
a,
I got a book coming out that's called AI or Die. And I
okay,
actually believe that people today, I don't care if it's with me, people right now today have got to get AI to work for them, or they are going to be passed by all those people that do. And when I say passed by, the amount of ability that you have, the scale when you get AI to work for you is amazing. And I tell
interesting?
people this all the time. I don't care if you work with me, but you have got to find a way to get AI to work for you.
Yeah, that's interesting. And how, when you say that AI is trying to work for you, or you want AI to work for you, explain what that means to the general population.
I'm specifically talking about AI agents. So, for example, people think that AI is going to ChatGPT and typing in a prompt and getting out the funny baby Trump podcast. No, that's using it like a hammer, like a tool. You give it a command, it gives you back something. That's it. An agent does something for you all day long, 24 hours a day. It's working for you. I'll give you an example. Elon Musk is about to launch self-driving Teslas, where literally you can put your Tesla out on the road and it will literally go pick people up and drive them around. That AI is allowing that vehicle to work for you while you sleep.
Yeah, that makes sense. Consider these agents something that you're putting out into the world without you having to be intelligence, making all the decisions for it, at, which way to turn, which way, when to press the gas, all of that. All of that is taken care of for you. So I'm curious, from your standpoint, we're still very early on in the agent empire, if you will. What can AI do for you that it's not doing right now? Does that make sense? What are the things that AI, you should be getting AI to do for you that currently isn't being done today? Does that
You
make
know,
sense?
there's a myriad of ways that you can get AI to work for you. I'll give you an example. A friend of mine has a daughter and she likes anime. She created using AI a storyline and then turned that storyline into little cartoons, anime cartoons. And they're 20 minutes long, which is about the amount of time that you need to occupy a kid's mind when you're driving around. Parents will put the cartoon on an iPad and kids will watch that iPad cartoon and be occupied. She sells those for $4.95. In August, she made over $28,000 selling that cartoon. That's a way where you can get AI to work for you. You make something with AI, it literally sells all day long as people find out about it.
Yeah, that's
And she's
interesting.
literally coming out with stories, more stories, and each story $4.95.
Yeah, yeah. And the AI is constantly selling that, constantly promoting that at that
Well,
point.
the AI is not promoting it. The App Store is doing that. It's a cartoon, it's an actual video. But the AI helped her make something that literally makes money while she sleeps.
Oh, I see.
So that's a way that you had to work for you.
Okay. Yeah.
The AI helped her write the story, it helped her do graphics, and helped the AI was involved in every part of the creation of those stories.
Yeah, that's cool too. Can you talk a little bit about what you can get? I feel like I keep going over this because there's so much that AI can do at this point, but can you talk a little bit about what AI can do for your life? What are the things you should be thinking about today that you might not necessarily be thinking about?
There's nothing that AI cannot do better than a human being today. There's literally nothing that AI cannot do better than a human being today. Literally nothing.
Yeah, that's interesting. And so, in your opinion, I'm curious, where do you see the human side of this in 2030, 2035, 5, 10
I think
years from
humanity is
now?
fucked in the next 12 to 18 months. I think
Yeah,
that AI is going to cause an economic storm like we've never seen before in our lives.
yeah. And this is coming from a developer that has many years of experience. Talk a little bit about what AI getting involved in over the next 18, 24 months.
I think the biggest thing we're going to see is AI robots. In fact, if you think back to the movie with Will Smith, I Robot, we're closer to that movie than we've ever been.
Interesting. Yeah. Interesting. And what are you doing to make sure that yourself and people that you love and care about are protected as best they can, or ready for this as best as they can.
This is going to shock you, but I'm moving away from all the major cities because I think when AI starts taking away jobs from the poor and the middle class, you're going to see anarchy like you've never seen before. You're going to see shoplifting like you've never seen before. You're going to see crime like you've never seen before. You're probably going to see it worse in the blue cities and the blue states. They're almost going to be unlivable in the next 12 months.
Interesting.
We're starting to see signs of that already.
Yeah. Anything blue, you would move the other direction because of that. Just because of that being.
I'm taking my $4 and moving to the mountains of Utah.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, people have to understand when AI starts here, let me give you an example. I haven't used a lawyer to write a contract for the last year and a half because AI can do it faster and better than any of the lawyers I've used in the past.
Yeah. And we'll say that's something that a lot of people have to get used to. The younger person is going to be more so inclined to jump on that bandwagon, and the older people pretty well are going to do things the way that they've always done at this point. But ultimately, that ends up catching up to you, where the younger people and the way that they're doing things ultimately end up superseding the older generations. I would say that your approach, your thought process about trying to get AI to work for you and understand AI is the best path to move forward. Even if you aren't successful with it, at least you'll start to understand it and understand how to use it for your own person. Would you agree?
Yeah. Like I said, you've got to get AI to work for you, or AI will crush you because it will help everyone else around you become more scalable. They'll scale their business. They'll scale their life faster.
Yeah. So what does that look like from both from a technology standpoint? Like, what types of technology should you be aware of and should you look into? And what types of AI, for lack of a better way, what types of software should you learn at this point to be able to be better at,
There's a
at
lot
that
of
side of
different
things?
ways you can get AI to work for you. I gave you the Tesla example. I gave you the cartoon example. You can use AI to write a book, which ultimately makes you money while you sleep. Also, you can get booked on podcasts, which I think are the best way to build your brand and your business these days. I think podcasts are the best long format ad unit you can do out there. There's a myriad of ways you can do it. I don't care how people do it. I think that people just have to literally immerse themselves into finding a way to get AI to work for them. And if
Yeah.
they need help, I've got a book coming out that's called AI or Die: How to Get AI to Work for You. And literally, I think it's mission critical that all human beings figure that out, because mankind is at its greatest threat in its entire history.
Yeah. Interesting.
The Terminators are coming.
Yeah, exactly. So what I'm trying to do with this podcast is get as much information as people can use. I should be learning this. I should be doing this. These are the types of things that AI should be doing for me. Where are those flags that they have currently in their life? What is
You're a podcaster, and the best way for you to monetize your podcast is to get a larger audience so that you can get more eyeballs on your content.
Yeah.
The best way for you to do that is to do more podcast interviews on other podcasts, because when you talk on their podcast, you literally are talking to their audience, and their audience can find out, hey, I want to follow this guy, Matt. I want to hear his podcasts.
Yeah. Yeah. So would having a podcast be on that list of the human side of things that you
Oh my
would
God.
suggest?
As a podcaster, you have so many AI based tools literally allow you to streamline the process of literally making your podcast very sexy, very appealing.
Yeah.
Everything from transcription tools to clipping tools. Yeah, there's a lot of AI tools that allow you to make your podcast scale much quicker than in the past.
Yeah. That's interesting. Even the things that you're doing in your life today, you should understand what impacts or what trajectory AI has with a software, a tool, a system, whatever it is that you can use to be able to make that thing that much better. Would you agree?
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, that's interesting too. I would so from a standpoint of these are the types of things that I do. Is there anything that you've seen people in their life that they are so passionate about whatever this thing is, but you're like, that can be replaced tomorrow? What types of things should you not spend your time on today?
Anything that doesn't scale your life or your business. If you're not scaling right now, if you're not able using it to scale yourself, just don't waste your time with it. You got to find ways where things can literally be growing on their own, and
Yeah.
especially with AI involved.
And what types of tools would you say are the best thing
I'm
to
gonna
learn
I'm gonna
right
give you
now?
Matt. I'm gonna give you an example. We're working on a tool that we're gonna launch before Thanksgiving. Watch this. This is a real life tool. You send out text messages all day long, right?
Yeah,
How many text messages would you say that you send on an average day? Meaning reply to a text or send one out.
probably 50, give or
Okay.
take.
Let's say for round number purposes, let's say it's 100.
Okay.
What if I told you that your phone could be a companion and give it a name and everything, and you could literally talk to that AI in your phone, and you will never ever have to use your thumbs to send a text message again? Now think about
Interesting.
this for a second. You do 100 text messages. Let's say you talking to your phone and even saying, hey, by the way, send Chris a photo of my dogs. I want him to know that these are my dogs. And also tell him I'd like to do another podcast in a couple of weeks. Literally, the AI will tell you the text it's about to send and the pictures that it has of your dogs. And it'll say, would you like me to send 2 or 3 pictures? And you'll say, send them 3 pictures, any 3, it doesn't matter. And then it will literally send that text for you to me with the attachments. Now think about this for a second. Let's say those 100 text messages you send every day, you're not texting them yourself. Let's say that process now saves you time. Let's say it saves you 30 seconds times 100. 100 times 30 seconds is 50 minutes, which let's say is almost an hour a day, which means it's 30 hours a month, which means I'm giving you a full day worth of productivity that you can use to do anything else you want. Play with your dogs, do something important, write a book, whatever. If I could do that for you and literally turn your phone into an AI companion that does all your texting for you, including sending attachments, which doesn't exist today, I can make your life more efficient because I can save you time and I can help you scale yourself. I can help you. Now, here's another thing. Let me give you another example. Let's say you got a group of people that you want to text and you want to create groups, text groups. And you say, hey, AI, I want you to create a group of all the people I've interviewed on my podcast and put them in a text group. We're going to call this text group podcast guests. The AI says, no problem. And then the AI gets back to you and says, I found over 150 people that are now in this group and growing. You say, great. Send them all a text saying, listen, guys, I'm going to create this group and I'm going to give you guys a chance to meet each other via text every time I do a podcast interview. And because of this networking value add that I'm adding, I'm going to give you the option of staying in this group, this text group, for $50 a month. But for $50 a month, I'm going to introduce you and give you the name, email address, and phone number of all my future guests so that you can use my podcast as a way to level up your connections. It's like a digital lead group. Guess what? You got 100 people at $50. That's $5,000 a month. You've now used AI to scale yourself and make an extra $5,000 a month.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I feel like there's a level of creativity here that you're tapping into that maybe other people don't yet have that ability to be able to tap into it. So I'm curious, what is your thought on developing that type of ability?
It requires very little sleep. I work a lot of hours every day. And a
Yeah.
lot of this stuff, you have to literally architect and break it down into pieces.
Yeah, that's interesting. What you're saying is there's so much opportunity out there for so many different people to impact their lives in ways that they don't even understand yet how to impact them. You just have to open up your eyes and be willing to go after the things that you believe in. That's what it is at this point, right?
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to think if this is a topic that can keep going on and on.
We,
And
we can do a podcast every week and
exactly.
change on the fly.
Yeah. Yeah.
With that in mind, why don't we do another podcast in about a couple of weeks? Only because I have a hard stop in 10 minutes.
Yeah,
And I don't
definitely.
wish you, but I love this conversation. And I think this conversation is inherently valuable to humanity and mankind like nothing else. I mean, we're talking about strokes and how to live a better quality life.
Exactly.
And more importantly, what we're also talking about is how to get AI to work for you. And if people don't start figuring that out, they are going to be left behind. And if you haven't noticed, AI is like a Pac-Man. It's eating jobs like crazy. UPS just let go of 20,000 drivers because they're having self-driving trucks drive around with their packages. Robots are going to jump out of the truck and drop off your package pretty soon. AI is literally consuming more jobs at an exponential pace that human beings can literally not deal with. It's literally the greatest threat to mankind in our lifetime.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I think that the way that you phrased that, the way that you positioned all of that, we're going from humanity to this is how you need to incorporate AI into your life. And this is how you need to view AI and think about AI and all of that. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. With that, do you feel like there's anywhere you would like people to reach out to you, or we can have this other conversation in a couple of weeks too, after you get a little bit further with your production or what have you. But I couldn't agree more. I think that it's incredibly important for the future of humanity to be able to learn about these things.
Yeah, I think it's mission critical that people literally learn how to get AI to work for them, because I think what's coming is an economic collapse for humanity. Not so much for the very elite and wealthy and very rich people, because those people have built massive amounts of wealth and control the AI that ultimately is going to be doing a lot of these jobs that are replacing human beings. But I think the poor and middle class America, they're in a desperate situation. And we're about to see anarchy like we've never seen before in our lives.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And I groups like Antifa, you see them now. Imagine that group being 100 times bigger or 1,000 times bigger. You'll see massive groups of armies of people that are desperate for food and shelter and opportunity. And those people will literally cause mayhem and anarchy within the major cities.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting too. Yeah. It's Chris. This is,
Maybe I've watched too much science fiction. I'm a conspiracy theorist at heart, and usually I'm right. It just takes about 6 months.
yeah,
Not after all
exactly.
the people that wanted me to take the COVID vaccine.
Exactly. I didn't take it either.
I know so many people that have taken it. And like my best friend, Mike Benet, he took it and he was the healthiest human being I've ever met in my life. And he's had strokes, brain tremors. He's slowly being destroyed. And
Yeah.
the doctors can't figure out why.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting too. Yeah. There's so much more to talk about and so many different avenues that we can go down. So I'll leave it at that for right now. We'll talk again in a couple weeks and do another recording and go from there.
Sounds good. I'll give them a free digital copy of my book that's coming out in a few weeks to your listeners.
That'd be
And I'll
great.
give you a link where they can download it.
Yeah. Do you want to say the link at this point, or is
I don't
this,
have the link. So
okay.
we're putting the digital copy together.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll definitely have that for you then too. Cool. Thanks, Chris.
Sounds good, Matt.